first met June via Facebook, and we were talking about this last week. I don't usually accept friend requests from people I don't know in real life, but June and I think it was Emer Martin maybe, we had a mutual person in common, and very quickly I started to notice, as I'm sure a lot of people in this room did, June's status updates, which were anarchic and scatological and bawdy and brilliant, and became very apparent to me very quickly that this was somebody who had a huge talent and huge gift with words and with writing. They were also very comic, they could be very poignant, they were often quite autobiographical, but they were really fearless and unafraid to say what she thought. So I kind of wondered what kind of writer she was. So we went for a drink in Devitt's, drank a lot of gin and tonic, if I remember correctly, and we talked about a lot of things. We talked about two things: our wonky hips. I hadn't yet got a hip replacement then, but you gave me loads of good advice for when I did. And we talked about writing, about how we both wanted to write and how we had no time to write and we were afraid to write, and the worst thing you can do is to be a writer is to be a journalist in some ways. So we were both writers trapped in journalist bodies trying to get out of them. So I started to ask June about writing and what she was doing. Anna Carey and I used to run a group website called The Anti-Room, and we asked June to write for us, and the posts that she wrote were incredible, more than we could have expected from any writer who's giving up their time to write this stuff for free. They were very heart-wrenching, they were often very funny, they were often very close to the bone. I think you probably wrote the most posts about sex, if I'm not mistaken. Bad sex, a lot of bad sex, let's qualify that. So the whole time this was all going on, one thing after another, I kept saying to June, you have to write, you have to have a book out there, you have to put your work out in the world. So when The Long Gaze Back was coming about, I asked June for a story, and I think even then she's very self-deprecating about her own work and doesn't ever think that she's in the same esteemable company as other people. And when she knew that Emer McBride and Anna and White and people were in the book, I said, you're going to be in this book because I think you have the potential to be as good as those writers, which is why I asked you for a story. It's a wonderful story, it's a very political story, it's a very relevant story given the lack of reproductive rights for women in this country, repeal the 8th. And I think that it really impressed me on a level of trying to write something political without being polemical, trying to write something very moving while not being sentimental, and also using language in a way that I just hadn't seen people do in this country in a lot of ways. There's a musicality and a kind of lyricism and a real urgency and unexpectedness to the way June writes. You think she's going to use one word and then she completely avoids that word, she uses something else. So I've been asking and probably being a pain in your ass over the last few years, asking you to write, because I really believed that your work needed to be out in the world. And this collection is staggering, really. I said a couple of weeks ago online that when people read this, it's going to change the way people think about Irish writing, and people use the words unique and not like everybody else, but June is writing in a way I really believe that I can't even make a comparison to another Irish writer about. She doesn't write like anybody else. Also, a lot of women don't write in this way, and I think that's an even more fearless and brilliant thing about the way that she writes. She's writing without fear, without censorship, without wondering what other people think about it. She just writes what she needs to write. She tells the stories she needs to tell, and I think that's one of the things that's so impressive about June's writing. So I sort of feel like her mammy. I'm very, very proud of her. I've been talking about her for years and telling people about her for years and hoping that somebody would publish her, and mainly, rather than taking those Facebook anecdotes and stories, not everybody gets to see them, but now we have your book in the world and people will get to see it. So it's brilliant, it's incendiary, it's crazy, it's sexed up, it's so impressive, and I'm just delighted that Room Little Darker is out in the world. So congrats to June Caldwell.